Versatile Mage. Chapter 211, Making a Move on the Wrong People. When Mo Fan activated the Blood Beast Boot's active effect, energy began to gather in his legs. At this moment, the power of his legs was no longer as simple as a human's. They held the power of the ferocious trampling Blood Beast hooves. When Mo Fan kicked toward the hill, the stone mound instantly exploded, causing it to collapse. The brute force transmitted to the back of the hill, and the intermediate wind magician that was hiding behind it nearly fell apart, just like the hill. The sound of his bones breaking seemed extremely clear amid the sounds of the hill falling apart. Mo Fan passed through the fragments of the hill that he had kicked apart. He saw people unable to get up, pinned beneath the pieces of the hill. Only then did he turn around as his gaze locked onto the other two attackers. The two attackers stood there, stunned after they saw the hill destroyed. Too savage. He kicked the 5-meter hill to pieces. Just what kind of a person was this? The three of them were just some people. Hearing that there was someone who dared to molest their fairy, Mu Nujiao, they were instructed to come here and teach him a lesson. Originally, they only wanted to give him a taste of their ire before running away. Who knew that the battle had barely started and yet their strongest member, the intermediate magician Fu Tianming, was beaten half to death. Who are you people? When Mo Fan realized that the two were completely dumbstruck, he suddenly realized that these people didn't look like those from the Black Vatican. When the Black Vatican made a move, they would definitely demand your life, or else they would take their own. These people used fire burst to probe him at first, and when they realized primary magic was useless against him, only then did they start using intermediate magic. We are students of Pearl Institute. We came here to find a student with the intentions of disciplining him a little. Who would have thought that we mistook senior for being that person? Please be lenient, the member who cast the fire burst said urgently. Yeah, we are in no way a match for senior. Who instructed you guys to come? Mo Fan asked coldly. It was Jia Wen. The two didn't dare not answer. Mo Fan blushed with shame. They really weren't people from the Black Vatican. These two guys were quite pitiful. If they were even a little bit slower in revealing their identities, then Mo Fan would have used Fiery Fist to turn them into ash. Mo Fan would not be even a little lenient toward the Black Vatican. His hometown and so many people were buried beneath their hands. Other than a bit of lingering fear toward them, most of his feelings were anger and hatred. Hurry up and take him to the infirmary. Any slower and he'll die, Mo Fan ordered the two. How could the two dare to say anything else? They ran toward the ruins of the hill and dug out their senior schoolmate, Fu Tianming. After lifting up their schoolmate, they were horrified as they realized their senior's bones were nearly completely shattered. His entire person seemed as though he only had a little bit of life left in him. This was not just your simple savage. Zhang Bing and Li Wang were considered good students. This sort of disciplining others was usually something instigated by their seniors. Their idea of discipline was to beat the other person up a little. However, how could they have imagined that the admired senior wind student would have nearly all his bones shattered from a kick, and was nearly killed outright? It was like they had committed some sin, since it seemed like they encountered a demon. Zhang Bing and Li Wang didn't dare stay any longer. They were deeply scared that if this senior got in a bad mood and kicked them too, they would have an even bigger problem. With that little disturbance past, Mo Fan returned to his apartment. It seems like I'm too cautious. Even if the Black Vatican's ability was greater, they still would have no reason to come to the Pearl Institute to commit an ambush. Mo Fan rubbed the side of his head in an attempt to calm his nerves. However, this was also impossible. After guessing the Black Vatican was planning to make a move on him, Mo Fan could not just loosen up and calm down easily. During the destruction of Bo City, there were too many people dying. Many of them were people that Mo Fan knew personally. The scene of He suffering from the evil schemes was still freshly imprinted in his memories. He would never forget it. Apart from this, The husband of his aunt had also died. The hunter squad captain, Zhu Dawang, died. Fei Shi did not survive, and the people who had been disciplined by Mo Fan's first lightning magic, Zhu Bing and others, their corpses were seen by Mo Fan when he was walking toward the safety area. Trying not to recall these things, he had put the nightmares in the back of his head after coming to the new city. He had let the extremely bloody events slowly fade, while his hatred for the Black Vatican only increased. In the battle just now, Mo Fan had indeed let out his hatred. It was why he did not go easy on them. In the end, it just happened to be a farce. Fortunately, that person was still alive. Although what he did could be considered self-defense, directly killing someone would still result in him being invited to the magic courts for a cup of tea. When the new semester started, yet another piece of new information passed through the school. This was the fact that the demon Mo Fan nearly killed a wind magician before school started. This matter immediately spread throughout the school. This caused the nearly dissipated bad reputation that Mo Fan had to redouble. Mo Fan was actually invited by the school to have tea. This was because the senior student needed 2 or more months to completely recover even after receiving healing from the healing teachers. Furthermore, whether there would be repercussions in the future was something they didn't know. The second semester of every year was the most important period for charging into the main campus. Him being handicapped for 2 months essentially rendered it impossible for this wind senior student to head into the main campus. Since it involved human lives, Dean Xiao had to personally deal with this matter. Mo Fan, why were you so serious in your attacks? Dean Xiao asked as he wrinkled his brow. It's not that the school didn't allow private battles, it's just that the method Mo Fan used had almost cost someone's life. Thus, the school had to deal with it, no matter what. Mo Fan didn't explain too much. Either way, what he wanted to say had already been said. It was they who ambushed him, all he did was defend himself. Did you encounter some kind of trouble? Dean Xiao asked. Mo Fan didn't reply. The Black Vatican dealing with him was something that he had speculated on his own. Telling Dean Xiao this kind of thing was of no use. Alright, you can return. Be careful during the main campus examination. Don't do things like this anymore, Dean Xiao said. He could only allow Mo Fan to return. After leaving the school board, Mo Fan walked down the main road of the school. He could still feel a dark cloud hanging over him. He didn't know why, but his heart just did not feel safe. Is it because I'm afraid of the Black Vatican? Or was it that he felt anxious because he knew that the Black Vatican was planning on making a move on him? However, that made no sense. Back when he was at the primary level, he was not afraid of them. So why now that he had reached the intermediate level? That's right, he was not afraid of them. He was afraid of them taking away the lives of the people he knew. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.